Well,
Thought it
hey,
was
Billy,
me for a minute.
Billy, are you ready for to go to demo?
I'm ready anytime y'all
All right, well, I'm gonna come on over and spotlight you, and it's gonna be the Billy show here.
are. Hopefully, Captain will make it back in.
Yeah, hopefully.
So
All right, we got you
we'll
now.
watch a good bit of it.
Okay, I'm going to mute all, and then Billy, you unmute yourself, okay?
Gotcha. Okay, I'm going to switch cameras in a minute from this one up here to show you what I'm going to be working on over here on my 2014. But basically, I'm going to take a platter a little bit bigger than this one and show you how I do this. And then when I'm done with that, I'm not going to be able to go any further on it tonight because I got to wait for this to dry. But I'll bring this one over here and cut the inside out and show you how I do the finish on this ring over here. Or not the finish, but the treatment I do to that. I'm not going to bother sanding these tonight. It's going to take too long. So I'm just going to show you where we go and you can figure the rest out from there. So let me move to my other camera. Well, I know it's plugged in. It was working a minute ago. Hang on. And I tested all this before we got started.
Oh, it never fails.
Murphy's Law is supreme.
But this only happened to me.
You turkey. Worst comes to worst, I'll just
Technology.
If you were just using one camera on your phone, you wouldn't have this trouble.
yeah, tell me about it.
Oh, sorry, I just had to throw that.
Our struggles are for real there, Doug.
All right, hang on.
I'm sorry, what?
Stop my virtual camera.
Yours and my struggles are for real on the single camera usage.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, can y'all see that now?
Now we got it.
Okay. So I had to stop and start OBS. So I'm going to take this little palette tray and I'm going to put some red and some white paint in there. I've added Liquitex to this because when I did that red platter, it wasn't thin enough.
Hey,
And
Billy,
it gave me
what paint are you using and what thinner? You said Liquitex?
Yeah, well, the thinner is Liquitex medium. Liquitex medium, that's what it's sold as.
Okay.
And the paint is just a big bottle, 6-ounce or 8-ounce bottle of acrylic that I bought off of Amazon.
Did you seal the blue piece first before you put the I guess that's stain, is that right? Or
It's dye.
dye? Okay.
So yeah, this one, the red one was a red dye. Basically, it's just red dye. I use red dye for these.
Oh,
The first color I put on here was an aquamarine, and I thought it was too light. So I added a dark blue, and you can still see the aquamarine highlights in places. And I really liked the way it came out. So this process is really not difficult, but you can get some really cool effects with it. I almost forgot something. When you're finished, you can get a piece kind of like this. You can do this to wide rim bowls. You can do it to platters like these are. It's just really, your imagination is your only limitation. And hopefully the Liquitex thinned this out enough. We're going to find out. So I've got a bead right here that I think you can see. So I'm going to do the red first. And I'm going
Can you
to
describe the setup?
Oh, I've just got this chucked up, and my real expensive paint catcher is a box that reams of paper come in. I cut a hole in the bottom of it to go around the headstock, so the spindle part on this 2014, and I've just got a chuck on it, and I've got it chucked up like normal, except I've got this box sitting on the bedways. Is that what you meant?
Yes.
I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now all I'm going to do is I'm going to run paint, and it's still a little thick, I think. So I'm just going to run this red paint around here and basically glob it on, because you want the centrifugal effect to do its thing. And it doesn't really matter. I may have to do this a couple of times for each color. I did before I thinned it. I was hoping after I thin it, I didn't have to do that, but you know, best laid plans and all that. But there's just not really anything difficult about it. You just slap some paint up here and then turn the lathe on and crank it up as fast as it'll go.
It looks like it spun out a little bit.
Yeah, it did. I know it did because I've got a red mark around it. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And that's pretty much exactly what I wanted.
Hey, that's cool,
So-
Billy.
You get really cool random effects.
Yeah.
Thank you. All right, now I'm going to rinse my brush out. And
He gave you some feedback there, Billy.
was that from me?
Yeah, I think you got two mics open. Well, it's
It,
gone now.
it says I've only got one.
Okay.
It was showing up in the host. I don't know if that's Eddie, but it says Trey.
Oh,
That's where the mic was. That's where the mic was.
Okay,
Right.
that's it.
Does
Well,
that blue, does that
I
blue
have
surface-
three. Is it what?
Does that blue surface slope backwards or is that flat?
It is not flat. It is sloped back some. Probably, I don't know, 1/8 of an inch or so.
Does that make it happen or is it going to be?
No, it'll do the same thing whether it's sloped inwards or whether it's sloped outwards, unless it's sloped out too much. I don't know what too much is yet. I haven't found that. Now, in the interest of time, you know, normally I would just let this dry for 15, 20 minutes. But I don't want to take that much time to do that. So I'm going to take this really expensive Harbor Freight heat gun.
I thought that was a blow dryer from years ago.
No, this is Drill Master brand. I think $10 at Harbor Freight, but it works fine.
Hey, Billy, if you
Yes, sir.
put a different color on while it's wet, will the colors intermix, or will they just naturally overlay each other?
They will. They will bleed. And depends on the paints and the colors. Some worse than others. I'll show you an example. On this white one, on the red one, I didn't wait quite long enough. The white was the last color I did, and I didn't wait quite long enough. And you can see it's got a pink hue to it, where it picked up the red. And I don't know why it picked up the red, because I put it on top of the blue. So it was,
Okay, thanks.
So you got to wait, give it some time. That feels pretty good. It's not coming off on my fingers, which is a good thing. Now we just do the same thing with some white. Now I'm turning this. I've got my hand on the hand wheel on the back side of the spindle. So I'm just turning it, daubing on some paint. And the reason that I went with red, white, and blue is because it's July. And I was feeling kind of patriotic.
The white has also been thinned to make it flow
Yes,
better.
Yes, the white has been thinned as well. See, it
Thank
picked up some of that red right there. All right, crank her up.
Oh, yeah.
This is, it just really doesn't get any easier than this.
And now you can see the white line on the box.
Yes, I can see the red line on the box.
Ah.
Almost
think
a
that's-
complete-
I think that's plenty. I think the thinner was just a trick, because I had to do this. If you watch the video when I prepped these, I had to put paint on the red one. I had to put blue on it, I think 3 or 4 times, and red the same, and the white the same. But now I will, at this point, really we're done, except for waiting for it to dry and doing whatever treatment I'm going to do out here.
Oh, wait, Bob Hodges says, put it in reverse next time.
Okay, what will that do?
I don't know. Bob's got an idea that might.
Centrifugal
Interesting.
force works in the same direction.
Well, yeah, it'll work both ways.
Yeah.
No, put the white on as a base coat.
Oh. Is that what he meant? Yeah, that would be cool. Do a white one.
Okay.
No, what
All right.
he was talking about was putting the paint around the rim and put it in reverse, and then the paint will go into the center. It was a joke.
No, it won't.
No, it won't.
No, it won't.
Oh, now Bob's added, it was a joke, hence the winky face. Bob, I don't see those emojis, so. Good
All right,
move.
so now I will carefully take this off, because I need the chuck on the other lathe. And I will go lay this down.
I love that paint catcher. I normally use my t-shirt.
Yeah, well, so I didn't want it all over the shop. So now you see the 2014. And I'm not real sure where this sticker came from.
I'm not either.
Me neither.
And I'm told I can't own up to it, but I'm working on somebody to do it so y'all can buy through PayPal or one of those things. He's gonna make sure the club doesn't have a money involvement with it.
Yeah. Okay, now we'll come back over here to the big camera because I can do this. Oops, too much.
I like this setup.
So y'all are seeing this, right?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'm just making sure. I'm still in OBS. I'm not in Zoom looking. That'll do. So at this point, we've got a few options. One is, how are we going to treat this? I've got a bead on here as well. So I think for this one, I'm going to take my really expensive homemade point tool.
That's nice.
This was the largest cobalt screwdriver Lowe's had. It was a 6-inch by number 3. And I'm kind of a tightwad, so I think I want to put that about right there on that bead. And I'll probably burn that later. Or here in a minute. I haven't decided yet. Now, before I start turning the middle of this out, y'all would not be happy with me if I wasn't wearing protection. So I'm now wearing protection. This is a Triton helmet. I've had it for years. They don't make them anymore. All right, I'm going to go in here with my 40-40, I think. It's a 3/8 40-40 grind. And I'm just going to curve this out a little bit. Or curve it in a little bit, I should say. Thing about a 40-40 gouge, if you're moving your hands and not your body, it'll tell you. Ooh, that's about thin enough.
I like this. It's got that little bitty scraper to go after it.
My daddy always told me, work smarter, not harder.
You got it. Did they make sure you always carried a pocket knife?
Oh, absolutely. I call it my Texican Express card. I don't leave home without it.
That's nice. I like the way it was detailed.
I got that little bump right there I don't like, and I've got a little bit of a and this is just oak, so it's nothing special.
No, but you can see how it was sliced because it's getting stonies already. Billy, for novice turners, when you finish, can you show us a close up on that pointing tool that you just used?
Sure. I can indeed. I've got it ground on three sides to a pyramid shape or three-sided pyramid. All right. Now, I'll take my really expensive piece of tool here. This is a free sample of Formica from Lowe's or Home Depot.
Oh my goodness. Y'all saw the smoke?
I
High
smelled
hope
it.
silver.
Yep. Oh yeah, that will work. So now I don't like the look of this. That's the thing. So what
Agreed.
I would do at this point, and I haven't sanded yet, but this is ready to sand.
Joaquin wants to come borrow that scraper. He says he's got a 40-foot trailer he can fit it on.
I think what I want to do, and decorating this bead is pretty much up to you. I could, because I've got burn rings on the outside, what I could do is very gently sand it all back to wood and leave the burn ring on the outside and on the inside, and then have the dish. Or I can cover it up. And in this case, that's what I'm going to do. It's going to take several coats because I've got this thinned out. And if I don't like where it goes, if I don't like the look of it when I'm finished, I'll sand it off. That's one of the beauties about doing stuff like this is you can pretty much just let your imagination run and do what you want.
I really like having the option to sand something off that you don't like. That's served me well.
Yeah, me too. I'm just going to get a base coat on right now. And again, I'll come back later after that coat dries and I will do it again until I'm happy with the overall look. Unlike Matt, I'm not much of a painter.
I can't wait to see how Matt fixes that funnel he turned the other day.
Yeah, there was a lot of options in the comments on that piece. I'm still sanding it.
I think you're doing a great job painting that.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Ooh, I
absolutely. Don't
messed
sell
up.
yourself short. That's well done.
Yeah, I got a bedroom and a bathroom to be painted.
Well, help me paint my house.
Uh-oh, see? Oopsie.
Only you're seeing that. We're not seeing that until you point it out to us.
Yeah. But I can fix it. That's the beauty of it. I can. Okay, so you get the gist. Put a couple of coats of paint on it. Make it look like how you want it to look. Make sure you're happy with it. And do it till you're done. And once that's done, then like I said, you sand it. Just like I did this one. You just sand it all up. I didn't sand out here after I had the paint on. If you do that, you'll remove it. So that you don't want to do. Something else you could do though is you could, before you start this process, you could coat this with a couple of coats of de-waxed shellac, like seal coat. And I like to use de-waxed shellac because it doesn't matter what finish I put on top of it. If it's got wax in it, that's not necessarily the case. So you could cover this with de-waxed shellac, and then it would be more protected to be able to wipe off or get off anything you got on the outside. And then you just spray it or brush it with your finish of choice. In this case, it was lacquer. In the case of this and that blue one, it will probably be lacquer as well. And, oh, that tool.
That's really cool. I like this a lot.
Yeah, I like
Well-
that red circle in the middle. That really sets it off.
Yeah, especially when you recoat it, it's got some definition to it, a little more.
Mm.
That's
Frames
neat.
So is that in focus?
Now it is, sir.
Okay, this is how I ground. I grounded on 3 sides. All right, come on, get in focus, you.
Yeah, that's basically a point tool, right?
It is. It's a
Yes.
homemade point tool. I've
Yep,
ground
okay.
it on 3 sides on my grinder. I did not use my CBN wheels for this because I don't think this is high-speed steel. So I used my 6-inch high-speed grinder on it. And when I need to touch it up, I hone it. And it works great.
Was that
Uh,
a Phillips, a round shaft Phillips?
Yes, it was a round shaft number 3 Phillips, and the blade was 6 inches long. You can also make your own ultra thin parting tool. This is high speed steel. I ordered it specifically because it was high speed steel. This is a reciprocate. I'll be able to get it in a minute. It's a reciprocating saw blade that I ground the set off of, not just the teeth, but I ground the set out of it as well. And I use this for making my bowl from a board bowls. So you can make your own tools. It's just a matter of your imagination and using the right equipment. I mean, and the right steel.
Yeah.
But for a
Put
point
in the
tool,
elbow grease.
but for a point tool, that Phillips screwdriver does a treat.
I had a dear old friend that was making them for the club, and he was using the support rods for hatchbacks. He'd go to the dump and knock them off. And they're a great steel for that. I've got 4 or 5 still left. Yeah, you can make them in different sizes. There's an English term for that tool. All right, we lost all video from Billy. So, all right, Billy, we're
Okay,
back.
so that's pretty much all there is to it. I mean, and you can see the kind of effects you can get. The weird thing is that white paint, you can tell. See how it looks really light blue now?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I was going to ask a question on that. It looks
That's-
like the white paint picked up the blue, but it didn't pick up the red.
Correct.
Any
And
reason for that?
I believe the reason is because the red acrylic paint had already dried when I put the white on, and it picked up the blue because it is water and alcohol based dye, and acrylic paint is also water based. So it would probably have been better had I sealed this, sealed the dye in with shellac before I did this. I wasn't thinking about that, so lessons learned there. The reason it didn't do it on this piece is because the black, I did seal in because it was Speedball Super Black India ink. And I sealed it with shellac before I put the paint on it.
That is one beautiful piece.
That
Thank
is
you.
stunning. Absolutely stunning.
So you live and learn. I've learned if you're going to use dyes, especially what I use, seal your piece before you spin paint it.